All right. And we are live. Thanks everyone for joining another episode of the OpenJS Foundation's Cross-Project Council meeting. Today is the 4th of August. And yeah, thanks everybody for joining. The issue is 606 for the agenda. And do we have any announcements or anything we want to talk about before we get into the agenda?
A couple of things announcement-wise. It's a light meeting week for the foundation, so that's kind of nice. But we do have some project news. QUnit launched a new snazzy website, which we're really excited for them. That's been a process of migrating off an old WordPress multi-site, and it looks really great. So congrats to the QUnit team for getting that out the door. It looks wonderful. And the other thing that's happening right now that's announcements worthy is that we're running the election for the end user and Silver member board seats, and that should be wrapping soon, so we should have news there. I think that's it from like unless somebody else is aware of some other project news that I may have missed. It's been sort of a quiet week, which not so bad.
I mean, I have something that I'll just mention as an announcement, even though I think it's on the agenda. But you know, Electron joined as an impact project, and Shelley and Tierney are going to be their voting members. So I just opened a PR for that, but I think, you know, there's nothing controversial there, so it's something to celebrate and announce. Yay! Welcome.
Thanks, y'all. But it's like claps or snaps so that we're not.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so there's a PR open for that, but I think it's in the agenda. So, oh, actually, it's the first item on the agenda. This is issue number 604. I don't even know why I'm necessarily opening it, but I think that this was, you know, the team was aware of this and already working on it. So when I created the issue, things were already in motion. And I have PR 608 open to add them to the README. I've already added folks to some of the teams, and I think that you know, things are cool. So yeah, welcome. Next on the agenda is issue 601. And again, if folks can help with some notes, that would be great. I see someone typing, but more than one is always helpful. So we have issue 601 open, and this is Michael Dawson kind of laying out the situation with the two board seats that we're looking to work on. The last comments were like 6 days ago. And I mean, I think it was open maybe 6 days ago too, 7 days ago. I think there are a couple of things we need to work out here. And I think the big thing is whether we run both elections right now, or we like kind of vote to extend one of the seats for 6 months. The thought is that we wanted to go to a staggered election cycle. But the question is, do we vote for both of them and have only one be there for 6 months and then run another election, or do we just extend one of them by 6 months and only have one election right now?
I suggest we stagger them, because otherwise we'll be trying to decide for 6 more months when to stagger them. So we should just do it and go. Yeah.
So I think the staggering part we're in agreement on. The question being, do we just vote on one now and extend the other one?
I think so. I think that's easiest, because otherwise we lose the continuity potentially, which is the whole reason we wanted to stagger, was so we didn't have a whole new group at the same time, right? So
yeah,
that was the goal, so we might as well do what would get us closest to that goal, I think. And I don't think like people are like bombarding us with requests to replace the board or swap it out right now. So it just seems the easiest, you know?
Yeah, well, I've had some complaints, but I'm just kidding. That was good. So if that were to be the path forward, the next question then becomes, which one do we extend and which one do we leave in place? And to me, it seems like we would extend the CPC director seat, which is the one that Chris is occupying right now, and the Node.js specific seat we would vote, because that was, you know, this kind of special case that we had set out for a year and had decided to move forward, having it be open to the projects overall. My first question is, does that make sense? And then my second question would be, Chris, you're on the call here. Would that be something you would be amenable to if that were the path that we were to go down?
Yeah, so I was going to say, I mean, that makes sense to me. I'm definitely open to that, but also it obviously works in my favor for the next 6 months. So I'm kind of trying to keep my opinion out of it.
Yeah, no, but I just wanted to, if the assumption was that you would assume that you would continue, I wanted to make sure that continuing was not an issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do we make this decision in a way that is you know, that we get people's voices in it, and do we like vote on this process? Do we open an issue or vote in that particular issue, or how do we move forward on this particular question?
Well, it's technically just a change to our rules, right? So normally that's like a PR and then voting, right? I mean, like thumbs up, thumbs, like, you know, consensus, 2 weeks, that whole process. If we want to do it faster, I mean, we could just reach out to everyone individually and ask them to voice their opinion quickly, so we could try to speed it up. But it's up to you. I mean, I think that's the process we have in place, so we should follow it, even though it's a little slow if we don't push it.
So that would be updating our governance, perhaps, to denote this sort of change. Which I can't recall. Is that 2 weeks or quorum or something? I
think it's generally 2 weeks, unless like everyone has like, you know, said, hey, I'm fine with it, and then you can speed it up. If I remember right, I could be remembering completely wrong. But
PR has to be open for at least 14 days, or consensus is reached in a meeting with quorum of voting members. Which we don't have today, obviously. So, okay.
We could send the list just a note about it and just say, hey, we were hoping to get quorum next week to decide on this, because we've been dragging it on for a while and we want to get it done.
Yeah, I was going to say, perhaps we still go the 2 week PR route, but so that that timeline starts, and then that way, if we don't get quorum next week, we're at least a week into the 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I like that approach better, because we'll be announcing our new board members on Friday, or they'll be notified so soon after. So it would be great to have the new community reps on as soon as possible.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. And then, I mean, we could even start running the one election. Maybe that's what people are saying immediately as we work through the PR for the other seat. So I don't hear anyone like kind of raising any objections or complaints or concerns. I guess this may be an accurate, better word. Jory, what do you have?
I just want to make sure that I'm capturing kind of the action correctly. So we're going to go ahead with a PR to extend the extend the CPC director seat 6 more months, and to run an election as soon as possible for the seat currently occupied by Node. And you want us to start the 14-day governance approval process via PR now, but also send an email out to the list to see if we can get quorum on yes faster than in 14 days.
Yeah, and the governance says quorum in a meeting, right? So it's not like You know, not a quorum in the PR, not a quorum in, you know, an email vote or something. So,
Quick question. That changes the process, and then when does the self-nomination election? I mean, are we talking 2 steps or 1?
so there are 2 seats. So the seat that Michael Dawson is currently holding, we could open up that election immediately, assuming that there's no change to that process.
Okay.
And then if we are staggering, then we're changing governance to say that the seat that Chris is occupying, we would extend for 6 months and then have that election.
Okay.
So we could move
2
forward.
separate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we can also today, like prior to next week, we could open up the election nominations.
Yeah, today, which I think is just, you know, declaring it an issue and ask folks to self-nominate there and put in their candidate statement and what have you. And we can get nominations and then move to an election.
And Jory, I can send you some suggested language that for that self-nomination. Okay.
I think Jory was just volunteered for opening that issue.
Sorry.
Robin, I mean, yeah, I'm volunteering.
We'll get it done. We'll get it done.
Great.
Yeah.
And then I'm not sure how clear if this is in the governance or what have you, but is it nominations for a week and then vote for a week, or do we take longer for that? I'm trying to look this up. It might be in the charter.
That was the approach we took for the general board. It wasn't specified, so you might have given it like 8 days or something.
Yeah, it looks like in our governance for voting CPC members, we have this like 2-week nomination period, but let me see if there's anything in the charter. Sorry, y'all, I don't have this stuff at my fingertips.
You don't have it memorized?
I know, God. So much paperwork. I don't see it like really declared anywhere specifically. There is mention of in the governance about non-impact voting CPC members that the nomination period is for 2 weeks. And then voting will start a week after the nomination period ends and be open for 2 weeks. This is non-impact voting CPC members, so we're not bound to that, but that's kind of a little odd that we maybe want to just visit that language. Okay, and I mean, maybe 2 weeks is fine if we're not like already behind the schedule, you know? But I feel like we are. So are we in agreement that we should do 1 week and 1 week, or do you think that we should try to put in more time for that?
I think we should do 1 week and 1 week. I mean, this is certainly something we've been talking about for a while. I think a lot of the people that we would be interested in nominating are probably aware. I mean, the one issue is that this week does seem to be a heavy vacation week. So, and maybe we do open it starting, say, Monday, just to, because if Michael Dawson's out on vacation this week and others are out on vacation, it may give them.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's surprised this is coming. That's aware of what we're doing. But also, like, we don't want to like say, yeah, you got 2 days and you're all on vacation, so good luck with that.
Yeah. Okay. So will you make that clear in the issue, Jory?
We'll start accepting on Monday the 10th and stop accepting on Friday the whatever is not that day, whatever that day of the week is. It's the 5th?
Sure. Well, the 5th would be before the 10th.
Oh.
The 10th to the 14th.
Yeah, next Monday through Friday. That sounds good.
Okay. And then will the election be run for 1 week? as well?
I think that's reasonable.
I agree.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, that settles that. Or at least gets us on the road to settling that. We'll have to get that PR open as well. Do we have any volunteers for the PR to change the language around this other board seat, extending it for 6 months and such? Any volunteers? Bueller?
I can take a stab at it.
Yeah, yeah, okay. I hope that's not awkward since it's your seat, but I appreciate you taking a stab at it. Don't try to sneak in there
Make sure
like some
it's
sort
also-
of.
I mean, he probably knows it better than anyone else, so that's good.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can sneak in a few like in perpetuities in there and see if anybody.
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe some monetary,
Firstborn children are good additions too. So.
yeah, some monetary payout. And
Right.
all right, great. Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate it. All right, awesome. That's that. Whew. Okay, cool. Now, the next one on the agenda is an issue that I opened up, but I think that the board has approved this board seat definitions and process. Michael commented a few days ago saying that the board vote is complete and approved and should be ready to go. So I will land this puppy after the meeting, or if somebody wants to just do it right now, that's fine. So cool. The next thing on the agenda is the CLA to the Apache style ICLA and CCLA. I think that this is good to go, and I think we'll just leave this for Brian to kind of wrap it up and close the issue when we can confirm that that everything's cool here.
I believe he had intended to remove that from the agenda even because the board had what they were, but Chris was about to say something and he knows more than I do on this topic. So
Sorry, I was just gonna say, I know Michael and I are both meeting with Toby next week once Michael's back, just to get a little bit more clarification on some of the requests around only offering an ICLA. So I don't know how much that'll impact this. I think we're more just trying to understand the request because I'm not, again, I don't totally understand why offering both means anything. I mean, if a project only wants to use the ICLA or a company only wants their people to use the ICLA, they just tell them to do that. So I'm not sure why there needs to be this differentiation of particular projects being able to just offer the ICLA. So yeah, we're just trying to get some clarification on that, but.
Okay.
So it sounds like it's more of a implementation details piece that lay with program management, because functionally it doesn't change behavior for projects. Is that right?
Right. Yeah. It's a matter of, I believe the way I understand it, there are a project or projects that are wanting only the ICLA option, but the way that our tooling works, they're both there. But if a company doesn't complete a CCLA for their employees to use and they tell them to use the ICLA, then it shouldn't matter. But again, I might not be fully understanding the request, so that's what we're trying to figure out. But we're waiting until Michael's back next week.
Looks like we lost Joe.
Yeah, he warned us that might happen.
All right.
He's been hurricaned. I hope he comes back. I'll take us onward. So no action item here for us today. I think we should also remove the label, the meeting label on this
Sure.
just because there's no update. And Brian can keep us posted if there's something else that needs to change. All right, next up we have collaboration for hackathon, issue number 572. This I think was mostly an FYI. We had a community member who wanted to let us know that there's an event, a hackathon event, and they're looking for folks to help mentor and participate in the hackathon. So I don't think that there's really anything to discuss or anything here, but just excited to share that with our community. If you're interested in participating, head on over.
We missed the dates on it, actually.
We
It was
missed the
last
dates
week.
already?
Last
Was last
weekend.
Oh, snap.
I think in the
Oh.
comment it says the date is now August 28th and 29th.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, okay, I was like, well, I'm really nailing calendars today.
No, it's like the top. I just didn't read all the way down. Does
Yeah,
it?
and-
Read? Oh, okay.
and
Yeah, I see
then-
that in Joe now. Okay, cool.
If you missed the meeting last week, we at the broader foundation level are going to be collaborating with Major League Hacking. And so we've been brainstorming some ideas and they're going to come back to us with some proposals. So hopefully lots of ways to participate and kind of ways that we can do cool things that scale across all of their hackathons. So.
Oh. All right, no action needed. We can remove the label from that agenda item and just encourage folks to go meet Beep Love Karki on GitHub if you have more questions and want to get involved. Next up, issue number 547, which is governance changes for collaboration network. This is one that Michael Dawson has really been driving this, and I don't know what the status is.
I'm checking. I don't remember if we combined those votes. Give me 1 second.
This was at the board for.
Yeah, because there's that one small charter change.
Mhm.
No, it was only for the board seat definitions. So it looks like we probably need to follow up with Brian to get that vote.
Okay.
So I'll ping Brian.
Brian's on vacation this week, so if you need anything earlier, then I can help get it done. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's any. Does anybody know? I mean, is there urgency to get this going?
I don't think that there's urgency. I think it's just one of those things that's been ongoing. So I think this can wait until Brian's back and some of the other votes have come through. We're keeping the board busy with stuff, I think.
All right. Yeah, I'll just ping Brian then, so it's in his inbox when he gets back. But
all right, issue 414, or pull request, sorry, 414. This should be the pull request. Oh, did I just skip ahead?
No.
No, I just confused myself. Pull request 414 adds foundation copyright guidance, which we don't. This is also Toby's task that I think has been latent for a while. Toby's not with us today, so we'll move on, but I wonder if there was, I think this was a mistake. This is labeled in my document responsible security disclosures, but this is. So no update here. Now, number 326, let's see if this got just sort of, yeah, number 326 is responsible security disclosures. This one it has an open pull request number 602 to move the security reporting proposal to stage 3. So with this, I believe what we are, there's some changes that Marcin looks like he's gonna make to this pull request, but assuming we have no further direction, this would now need to advance from our group to the board. Does anybody happen to have, perhaps from the Node community, any news or updated information aside from what Marcin had for us like 6 days ago? None? Okay. Well, it looks like there's just, again, a few changes from Marcin that once those are in, we can agree to move up to the board for a board vote. And then last but not least is number 607, which is next steps for the supporter program. And Sarah's on the call, so I can totally let Sarah speak to this one.
Great. For next steps, so I put together a synchronous meeting, a doodle for people, so we can talk about, 'cause I think we've really reached a consensus, though, about a lot of the foundational stuff, but I think there are open questions about what should be implemented by who, when, what a marketing rollout looks like. I think the foundational work or the 50,000 foot view, I think everything, or mostly everything's agreed on. So next step, our meeting, I put a doodle together. I don't know if that's how we do things. The link is in the issue. If people could take a look, I'll also put it into chat right now. But hopefully we can get together and talk next steps.
Woohoo! Exciting. Sounds good. Any questions for Sarah? Or nope. Okay, well that's all of our agenda items.
Wow.
So way to go.
That was fast. That's
Yeah.
That was fast.
You just have a hurricane every week, and this would be so simple.
I was gonna say we should make note of who's not on this call.
No, we won't go there. It's all the weather. That's all it is.
I think we'll just blame Joe.
Yeah, Joe, right. Okay, cool. Well, let me ask if there's any other business that folks would like to have covered today, but didn't get a chance to mark it for our agenda.
Excuse me. Did we do 592 or did we skip that? The develop annual review process for projects.
So that was actually, that's a great question, because I was taking notes at another part of the document and then I thought, oh, I must have missed whatever Joe said about that. I will watch the call again later. So I don't know. Does anybody remember discussing 592, say 20 minutes ago?
I don't think so. I think we might have missed it.
Okay, well, let's discuss it then. Thank you, Chris Hiller. So this is the proposal, or a proposal that is needed for developing a review process. I think the idea was to focus initially on supporting the review process for growth projects so that we can make sure that we're helping to support those projects in the way that they are looking for. There's been some discussion on the thread about, how to proceed. Chris, I know you've been active on that. Do you want to try and summarize for everyone kind of where the discussion is?
Yeah, so it seems like this is one of those that can be split into several issues, but yeah, there's supposed to be an annual review process where I don't know what happens exactly there, but there's supposed to be something. And we need to determine that the stage is where they should be. And I think that's fine and good. But if you have a project in growth, for example, and you go and you reach out to them every year, I feel like that's going to be insufficient. So there's also this whole idea about growth projects. They need goals. They need to work with the CPC to set goals for their growth, and with an eye towards this was mentioned. I think it was not clear to people if being in growth is supposed to be temporary, and you're supposed to be in growth for a while and then either move into impact or to at large at some point. So there needs to be like some goals set for these growth projects, at least from the way I see it. In addition, because we're looking at this every year, that's just like not enough. It's not enough hands-on. I think that growth projects are going to need a champion or a mentor of some sort, somebody that checks in with them every couple weeks, maybe, and make sure that they're making progress towards their goals, answering any questions the project may have, yada yada yada. So it's like three different things, but I would certainly be as Mocha is my project. Mocha is a growth project. I'm probably I'm going to want to set goals for Mocha with an eye towards moving into impact eventually. But I'm going to need to meet with the CPC, or I don't know how we want to do that to determine what those goals are. But then I would hope there is somebody from the CPC or the foundation that works with our project to make sure that we're meeting those goals. And so I would be interested in being a mentor or a champion for other growth projects. That sounds like something I'd really be interested in, but I don't think it makes sense for me to do my own project. That being said, so yeah, that's the gist, all of it. So
it sounds like, I was reading a bit about this. It sounds like, and listening to you, what you're saying, it sounds like that this would be a valuable resource in general for growth projects. And it also sounds like putting myself in the shoes of someone that is a maintainer. I know that some people may find it really valuable to have mandatory check-ins, and some people may find it to be really difficult. It almost sounds like I don't want to say older sibling project would be good, but is this something that maintainers of a project that is larger, that's farther along, like an impact project, could have open office hours? Or do you think it would be having it more structured? Like, it sounds like, yeah, having it more structured would be valuable rather than an open office hours time that people could join.
I mean, that probably depends on the project. I know that my experience in the JS Foundation, we were assigned, Mocha was assigned mentors, but it didn't really, like, there was no structure. There were like no expectations really, and so it just didn't pan out. So that's why I think that the structure is maybe needed. I mean, we can always go back and change it. but and maybe some projects don't want that. They don't feel like they need it. But these are growth level projects. I don't know, that's kind of a wide net, right? That's different. These are projects looking to grow and reach the next stage. How far they are along is, that's a per project thing, and how receptive they'd be to like a check-in with a mentor, how much they need from a mentor, that's going to vary.
If you don't mind, yeah, that all makes a ton of sense. I think it would be really easy to constantly opt out of them. And could you talk a little bit about how, as a growth project, some of the things that would be really, besides like a check-in point that is, like helping with progress, it would be helpful to understand maybe some of the specific mentorship that would be helpful. For example, is it like around marketing or recruiting maintainers or things like that? What do you find to be your biggest challenges?
I'm not sure I can really answer that yet. I think that's going to depend on the goals that we set. So where do we need to get to reach the next stage? And from there, I can say, okay, I'm confident we can do X, Y, and Z, but I'm going to need help with this other thing. So it's going to be tough to say. I don't think there's like I certainly can't speak for other projects, but I can't speak for even what we need exactly from a mentor until we know what we need to do.
That makes sense. It more sounds like instead of concrete resources, maybe a clear guidance is what would be most beneficial on how to advance. Is that what I'm hearing?
Right. So when we signed on as a growth project, the way I understood it and how I explained it to the other maintainers was, we're going into the growth stage. What we want to do is reach impact stage. To do that, we need to work with the CPC and set goals to get there. And so those goals, that's kind of the big question, what those goals are going to be for Mocha.
Got it. So is the, got it. Okay. Well, I'd love to be helpful with this project. I think this seems like a good, a neat thing to be a part of, as well as helping to understand what projects are facing on this path. So we know that there's an active issue, and I know you're talking about it, but however I can be helpful. Also, it seems like this is a two-way thing, right? This is both working with the CPC to establish growth goals, which was that left with you as this is something we need to do, and then like next steps are kind of at on your end, or is this something that's upcoming?
So I may not have understood it accurately. I feel like I did, which was, so growth projects need these goals. They're not supposed to stay in growth stage forever. And so essentially, we've been onboarding, and that's taken a long time. And, certainly I could have pushed a lot harder to start this sort of process, but I knew that we're still, maybe we are still onboarding projects that need to be onboarded. I felt like that kind of needed to happen first before we could start talking about this other stuff, but maybe not. So yeah, essentially I'm just kind of waiting for an opportunity to work with the CPC on it. Where's the bandwidth? Do we want to split off like a subgroup off of the CPC to work with growth projects? I don't know, but we were just talking about let's not burn out on this stuff. So I'm thinking like, well, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of wiggle room where I could get in there and say, okay, we need to work with you to set these goals. Give us your attention. I don't know. It's not just us either. There's 5 or 6 other growth projects, right? So, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of waiting.
Yeah, that makes sense. Would it make sense, and this is a question to everyone here, would it make sense as next steps to work directly with Mocha to determine some of those goals, run them past other members of the CPC, and then based on that, or maybe Mocha and one other project, come up with a process for this so it's easily repeatable, and that might include the mentorship check-ins, that kind of thing.
One suggestion I have, I just did a call with the Chaos community team, and there's
I don't know what Chaos is, but they sound awesome.
Yeah, so if you look at that, I mean, it's quite robust and extensive. I think we need to have like a Reader's Digest version of that, but that's definitely a sort of a great template and a process for measuring community health.
Could you share that? Is that something you could?
Yeah, let me pull that. And I spoke with George from that team, but there's a lot of great people and a lot of great work happening in Chaos. And then I know at the Linux Foundation, we could pull some metrics for you. I believe that some of the same metrics that GitHub can pull for you, but we can help on some of the developer analytics as well.
So I would like to work on defining these. I'd like to work with other projects. Maybe that's helping to set goals, helping on the mentoring or champion front. But so I don't want to do Mocha first. So I would like to work on something else.
Let's nominate someone else then to be good.
Yeah, I would like to work with another project.
Yeah.
And then like somebody can work with me. Maybe it can happen at the same time. I don't know, but.
Well, Chris, can I offer, maybe we can follow up online, and maybe it's just better discussing the issue, but I'd love to be helpful if I can. So maybe we can look at the Chaos guidelines and discuss back next steps. I'm happy to meet sync or just talk async on the issue, whatever is most helpful.
Yeah, one thing I was going to suggest that would help is like I know that Dojo and interns still have to go through their checklist, and Chris still has to go through parts of his, and I'm sure some other projects do as well. Maybe we can do some of this in groups rather than like someone having to do the full onboarding with each project separately that we still need to do. Because I know it would certainly save me time if I could do both Dojo and intern at the same time. So maybe that's useful. Like, not for the like obviously the goals of the growth project itself, but all the other onboarding related stuff that you might still want to be doing and whatnot.
Maybe gathering
just because
the projects together.
Yeah, it seems like we have a bit of a backlog on these, which we talked about a couple weeks ago anyway. Like I know I'm as guilty as everyone on that. So, but I've just been kind of waiting like Chris to not be the first staff to do it all. So.
That's funny. I like the idea of like working in groups. I think that will help people feel, you know, some excitement to complete the tasks, which each individual task is not super exciting necessarily. It's just sort of like a chore. And I think that's part of why, you know, so that would be awesome. I think, you know, we can maybe even suggest a list of projects to kind of work together on their, try not to get too excited about chore wheels for everybody, but that's a little bit.
Well, I'll feel excited when it's all done. I know that. So, that.
Yeah.
Oops, let's see.
Also, it doesn't look like Nick's on this call, but Node-RED is a growth project. I can reach out to Nick and see if he'd be interested in working on that as well.
And I think WebDriver is as well. So, you know, and I know Christian's really active. So I could see I could see that maybe we have 6 growth projects, and I could see us saying, let's split them into 2 teams, and, you know,
yeah,
like
whatever is helpful.
Yeah, we'll go through the onboarding process, and I really want to get like diplomas for all the projects for the graduation. We could do like graduation.
See if we can get Michelle Obama to speak like she did to the high schoolers. That would be great.
Yeah. We'll work on that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good.
So I think one tactical thing very well might be to split issue 592 up into some smaller pieces to kind of break the problem down a little bit, and see if we can get a couple of groups of peers together to work together as opposed to by themselves, as Hiller has suggested. Does that sound like a good next step?
Works for me.
Issue. All right. Cool. All right. Now
I can take that task. I don't know if you like assigned it to somebody or you were going to do it. But.
I didn't assign it to anyone. I just wrote AI in the list.
Okay.
So I'm happy for you to take it, if you would like, and reach out to me if you need help. Okay, so I think we got through all the issues. Good job, everyone.
So now we have 4 minutes for private stuff if we want.
Did we need a private session? I'm not sure.
I mean, that's just what Joe would always say. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't think we certainly don't have anything to tackle in private session today that I'm aware of. So, I think we're probably good for now. I think this was a very effective meeting, and I thank you all for coming. Hope if you're on the East Coast that you stay dry. If you're in the Midwest, that you stay cool. I don't know how hot it is on the Pacific Coast right now, but
We're chill on the
stay
west.
still.
We're chill.
Yeah, not so much down here, but that's okay. It's the joys of Arizona.
Yeah.
All righty. Well,
Yay.
thank you all for your time, and we will see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Actually, different bat time.
Mhm. Bye, guys.
We're trying a new time next week, right?
That's right.
Awesome.
Okay.
Cool. Have a
Bye.
great week, everyone.
What's the time next week? Wait, what's the time next week?
It's really
6
early. We're
or-
trying it 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern, I think.
Okay.
To give Europe a chance to not have to cut into their dinner for this next week.
Yeah. Maybe we can get
Okay.
China and others too. Yeah.
We do need to
Yeah.
make sure that that gets updated on the public calendar.
Invite.
I do see that hasn't been updated there. So
Cool.
great.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks,
All right,
everyone.
thank you guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Mhm.